come shout it out.
These books can be used to share with your family, your friends, any significant people in your orbit about conditions that we should know. So I'm before you because of my age, my experience, and my obligation to share. I've been a schoolroom teacher, middle school and high school, and I know firsthand that complete knowledge of human history is left wanting because the African, the black human being input has been, as one scholar said, lost, stolen, or strayed. And it's been incomplete, and we'll get into that later, but the point is, my emphasis is regurgitating African thought, black people thought, the thought of black ancestors, the thought of black authors, to give me the perspective that I'm going to share. I am a reader. I think it's important that our children develop early habits of reading. If you know someone who is pregnant, that's the time to begin. You read to the fetus. You certainly, most absolutely, read to the child even before their nervous system is completely developed to the point that they understand what you're saying. So this is a lot of science, and I don't want to necessarily go into it right now. I'm trying to set a preface for what this is really all about, and I solicit your input and your reactions. I would love for you to react to everything that you hear and see, to shout out forever, 7 @gmail.com. Again, that's shout out forever7 @gmail.com. We want to try to develop an audience because everything that I'm sharing, I'm talking about, I'm not the gospel. Critique me. This is about a back and forth. This is about an understanding. You know, we're an oral people. Traditionally, historically, we don't mind interacting. I enjoy being a student. So these are challenges to the viewer to purchase these books, have them in your library for yourselves and anybody that you care about, regardless of who they are. You know, because we have to always understand that everything I'm sharing is undergirded by the fact that there's only one human species. We can talk about extraterrestrial, you know, that's a separate school of knowledge and information, but my focus is on the empirical, you know, the documented, the researchable. So I want to share this last part before I get into the first book. And this is a methodology for seeking to break the chains of mental slavery. And this author, his name is Richard King, Dr. Richard King. Some of you may have heard of him and his work, and we'll talk more about it. In order for black people to break the chains of mental slavery, they must use and update the same methods the ancient Africans effectively used in their mystery system, or what we call today university. Some of us know, some others of us need to know that when you go to the university, you're seeing a diluted version of what our ancestors were about in the temples and archaeology that is so famous now that people from all over the world still go to the Nile Valley to study and research at. But these institutions were designed to discover the interconnectedness of the reality the human mind through the senses is able to discern. I know that could be a mouthful, but stick with me because Dr. Richard King is a biological psychiatrist and most of the books that I will be talking about deal with scholars who achieve their educational credentials, and they use those skills to reinterpret themselves in terms of their history, going back as far as you want to go. So Richard King says, first, black people should not be confused about the process that was considerably transformative. No amount of mystification, random discovery, or hit and miss research will instantly define and implement a process that developed over thousands of years ago. Many people, when they hear thousands of years ago, they immediately dismiss it because we live in a culture that focus on the immediacy. You know, if it's new, it's better. What's past is past. And that's a fallacy. That's part of the miseducation, you know, that we'll be talking about throughout. So we don't want to ignore history. History is, like Malcolm X said, of all of the topics of research, history is best suited to reward your research. I find that to be an absolute, just as pertinent today, more so today in this era of fake news and alternative facts. Our understanding and ability to analyze and critique reality is more challenged now than any point in the past. So this is why Bobby Seale said even 30 years ago, seize the time. All history is a current event, according to Dr. John Clark, a master African teacher. So you're getting this for a reason.